Afternoon. Today we're going to get into a little clip of the Vanguard and one of their guests, Sam Seder from the Majority Report. This came on my YouTube feed while I was at the gym, so I gave it a listen. Even though I'm very conservative, I almost exclusively listen to left-wing media, radically left-wing media, just so I can get an insight into their arguments, how they think, what they're proposing, what um, their new cultural talking point is, if you will, who's popular, and also I just like to get a listen into their playbook, how they basically do this. If you're to listen any of their podcasts or any of their streams, they follow this main playbook, right? Of downcasting, downplaying other people who are more successful, ad hominem attacks, baseless allegations that can almost virtually never be substantiated, just to just to create that air of you know doubt that these people only got to be successful by playing this zero sum game. They're nefarious, they're shisty, um, and then they of course they never substantiate any of this, right? They just leave it to their viewers, who oftentimes are very dumb, right? You've seen their comment sections, how just they're mindless zombies who never seek out other information. So we're going to get into this here clip with Sam Cedar from the Majority Report, and then Beavis and Butthead from the Vanguard.
Something right now. Stephen A. Smith got paid a big chunk of money to be there. I'm going to bet that. I would bet any amount of money I have that he's being paid to be there.
Damn. On PBD?
Oh, yeah.
Did they offer you money when you came on?
They flew me down. They put me up at a shitty corporate Marriott hotel. That was fun.
Marriott, nice.
But I had a conversation in the green room, and because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck's going on here. And it turns out that may know used to have a multi-level marketing insurance company.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now he has a business consulting company, and apparently his office is on a small airfield.
See, so right there, right off the bat, so he automatically accuses Patrick Bet-David of having this multi-level marketing scheme, this Herbalife, scheme of making money where only the seediest kind of people would engage in this kind of business practice of screwing over their customers. Again, like I said, this playbook of casting doubt on these people who are successful. They had to have engaged in some sort of nefarious activity to be where they're at, right? So again, watch, you'll see as Sam goes into it, but of course Patrick Bet-David was involved in some sort of multi-level marketing scheme, which if he was, then he was. You always have to assume that two people played in a voluntary transaction, right? It's not like he was always exploiting the people beneath him, right? It's not a zero-sum game, the way people make money.
There is a big building and a smaller building, which is the studio. And the big building has, I was told.
And then oftentimes you can just see how much resentment these people have towards people who are successful.
When I go into these situations, that's all I do is try and find information like this.
The Vanguard will be there, sir.
100%. I mean, I hope that's what we see. And I've got one last question for you, Sam. I wanted to end this on a little bit of a high note. You know what I mean? One of the things that the three of us love to do, I remember you said it's one of the things that got you into the game. It's just Republicans are just so goddamn dumb. These are the most foolish people on planet Earth, and yet somehow they keep building careers for themselves, and they're mammoth, and they're sprawling. And it honestly makes me feel kind of bad. It hurts my feelings. I'll see how many live viewers these people get. I'll be like, this guy is live for 50,000 people right now. Are you kidding me? This guy? And it never happens to me more than when I sit down with a bowl of Cheerios and I watch the Patrick Bet-David, because it's my favorite way to hurt myself to start the day. And these guys, I think, are the dumbest motherfuckers alive. So I just want to get your...
Okay, that being said, these guys have 100,000 subscribers. They've been on YouTube for a fucking minute. Patrick Bet-David's been on for a long ass time too. I think he has almost 7 million subscribers. Why is that? Patrick Bet-David espouses very popular ideas. He's an American. He espouses American beliefs. He espouses American culture. He's never against America like these people, like these guys are. These guys are straight up communists. It's a very unpopular idea. These guys believe in transgenderism. They believe that men can get pregnant, right? No one fucking believes this shit except their 100,000 subscribers. It's not popular, but these guys are so dumb they can't get it. they can't understand why PBD, even though, I mean, you listen to a show sometimes, it's pretty unbearable. It can be very unbearable. However, I do listen to it just because he has a great guest on. But these guys, you can just see, again, the resentment they have towards people who are successful. And they can't do any self-reflection and ask, why am I stuck with 100,000 subscribers while Patrick Bet-David has nearly 7 million?
Reaction to this, because obviously a lot of eyes have been on the NBA recently. I don't know if you're a Knicks fan or not. You're a New Yorker.
I'm a Celtics fan, dude. I grew up in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay, there you go. So not necessarily your bag, but a lot of people on left Twitter were talking about the Knicks going on a run. These guys took the time to talk about WNBA ball, something that they don't understand at all. But he did take the time to invite on special sports analyst Stephen A. Smith, who also completely misses the point. This is one of the most hilarious things I've seen all day.
Griner, what she says, they're right there. Watch this. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are. The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some light racism. But here's where I'm going with this.
So this is a satire piece that says clearly.
Of course, it's so obvious. It's a satire. I have not ever heard any of this, and anyone who speaks English as a third language could pick up that, like, this is obviously a joke. A basketball player wants people in the stands.
And they're totally right. Patrick Bet-David just teed himself up. He had no idea. And like they did go into it later, but this first comment says right here, this is obviously a joke. It's so satirical that you have to be pretty dumb to take this seriously. However, he does, and his guest, Stephen A., who's, well esteemed throughout the sports community, also takes it seriously because I guess for whatever reason, he didn't know it was parody as well. This did not happen. She did not say this. This is on a meme page, right? A satirical page. So Patrick Bet-David's teed up right now. Let's see what these guys do with it.
They're not surprised that there are.
We got to get to Stephen Smith's comments too, because they're really fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. And the only thing I wanted to point out here, guys, is he has this on screen for all of them to look at. And the number one comment says, I don't know what's funnier, this post or the comment section of those. Don't realize this is a satire page. Well done. It's right here as the first to comment, the most upvoted comment.
So the WNBA says they want to get paid more. They're saying this year they're going to make $1 billion. That's what they're saying, okay? For the first time ever. Now that Caitlyn Clark is hurt for 2 weeks, did you see ticket prices? Insane. Let me read you the ticket prices. After Caitlyn Clark's been hurt for 2 weeks. All right? So let's go through this. Caitlyn Clark absence is having an immediate impact beyond the court. According to data shared by Yahoo Sports via TickPick, prices for 2 specific Indiana Fever away games against the Chicago Sky and the Washington Mystics dropped sharply after Clark was sidelined. Before the injury, the lowest ticket available for Fever's matchup at Chicago was $86. For the game in Washington, fans needed at least $41 to get in. After the news of Clark's absence, those get-in prices fell to $25.
Wait until he sees how far the tickets plummet when the Lakers play without LeBron. Like, this is not news at all.
This is like anybody who follows any type of sports understands this. She is a superstar. She is like, it's like LeBron or Jordan or going to see, Tiger Woods when he first came on the scene. Like, of course, it is completely. I mean, listen, I grew up in Worcester. We got the Worcester Red Sox from Pawtucket. And there are minor leaguers who, like, people come out to see because they're going to get up into the majors or something like that. And if that guy's not playing that day, people won't even go. Never mind pay for less ticket. They just like, fuck it, I'm not going to go. Like, I want to see that player.
Well, don't worry. He brought in sports analyst Stephen A. Smith, who hasn't been bending over backwards into a press.
I will tell you something right now. Stephen A. Smith got paid a big chunk of money to be there. I'm going to bet that. I would bet any amount of money I have that he's being paid to be there.
Damn. Down, like this was in the beginning of the video, but casting doubt that Patrick Bet-David isn't running a popular enough YouTube channel to get Stephen A. Smith on there. He had to have paid him money to come on there and chill and grift along with Patrick Bet-David and his co-host. You can never substantiate this, right? He just says this to downplay Patrick Bet-David.
PBD?
Oh, yeah.
Did they offer you money when you came on?
They flew me down. They put me up at a shitty corporate Marriott hotel. That was fine.
Marriott, nice.
But I had a conversation in the green room, and because I'm trying to figure out, like, what the fuck's going on here. And it turns out that, like,
again, if you're watching this, like and subscribe first of all, but just see how much substantive information they give, like what they actually say at the end of this video.
May know used to have like a multi-level marketing insurance company.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now he has a business consulting company, and apparently, like, his office is on a small airfield. There is a big building and a smaller building, which is the studio. And the big building has, like, I was told, when I go into these situations, that's all I do is try and find information like this, like 50 business consultants who are, that I have a feeling it's probably a similar dynamic, where maybe they work on commission or whatever it is. The Patrick Bet-David show is a loss leader. It is not designed to make money. It is designed to.
So a loss leader, for those who don't know, is something similar. Just as an example, is like if you own a restaurant, you're offering free cheeseburgers or food at a discount that customers would come in with the intention of getting the food that you're offering at a discount and hopefully purchasing more items such as alcohol, beverages, sides, stuff like this, just basically as an allure to bring customers in. That's what a loss leader is.
To create an image around him. So if you go back and you look at, like, at one point he interviewed Kobe, I am quite sure that interview cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. That he hires him to come to an event, interviews him, and then makes it like it's like an interview.
Same thing like Tom Brady.
Yeah, this happens all the time at conferences. Happens all the time. And this is a business model. And, you know, it's a business model. It's whatever. I mean, that's fine. But we look at this and we go, like, how can people, like, how can he even be like, why does he do this? Like, he clearly has no idea what he's reading half the time. He doesn't really think about this stuff. I mean, I'm sure he has an ego and wants to be, you know.
If that's the case, why does he has more subscribers than both these channels, the Vanguard and the Majority Report combined? You'd think they would do some self-reflection and wonder why Patrick Bet-David is much more popular than they are. But no, of course they don't.
On TV or whatnot, but it's a business proposition. It creates a celebrity out of him. Having Stephen A. Smith there, as opposed to me, like, for me, like, I was just wondering, like, why are they paying for me to come down there? Like, how do they make money off this?
Really good numbers. I mean, it was a main topic of discourse on the internet. I mean, you kind of hammered him, and that was
for me, it was great. For me, it was fucking great. But I'm thinking from his perspective, like, it's not like he's going to get a new audience in. It's not like a bunch of, like, Majority Report viewers are going to be like, oh, this Patrick Bet-David.
Right? See, to them, it's like, why would they have this concept of having someone who doesn't believe the same as you do? Why would you ever have them on your podcast? Why would you ever want to engage with someone who has a difference of opinion? Which is something these guys never do. If you listen to Sam Seder's show, it's just a glaze session of guys and women, guys and girls who agree 100% with Sam and Emma and the rest of their co-hosts. They never have a difference of opinion. Yeah, they have their callers come in and make, you know, their 5-6 minute conversation, but they never engage in debate. They never step out of their own echo chamber and engage with other mainstream right-leaning podcasters, hosts, conservative hosts. They never engage with them at all, because when they start getting specific about their ideas, they fall apart and crumble.
The guy, I really, you know, I look at the numbers his show does. I don't know, maybe it was 500,000 views on that, maybe less. I have no idea. But, like, there's no way it pays for itself. You know, like, whatever, it was like $600 to fly me down. I never saw the bill, but I'm assuming, you know, down to Florida and back, and, like, put me up in the hotel. It couldn't have been less than $200 or something. And Stephen A. Smith, he's not staying at that Marriott, and he's not flying coach. And in fact, he's not going down there without money. Like, if they pay him $5 or $10 to go on there, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And it's a lost leader, because it makes Patrick Bet-David look like he's a real person.
So you think it's all just about his image? He wants to be a celebrity. He wants to hang out with Joe Rogan and go to Mar-a-Lago?
I don't think
Patrick Bet-David just read something totally wrong and he had no idea. Neither did Stephen A. He's teed up right now. Let's see what these guys do with this information. Let's see what substantive claims they can make against him.
it's just ego. I think it is a lost leader for his business consulting business. So he makes money on the other side.
So it's like money laundering kind of?
No, it's like
for taxes?
No. It's like I remember an interview with who's that fucking guy from the Man Show? Not Kimmel, but the other guy, Corolla. Corolla, when he started his podcast, I remember reading an interview where he's like, I wanted to make money when I was not working. And so I invented Mangria. And he makes money off his podcast, or did, or whatever. I don't know what he's doing now. He made money off the podcast.
Now,
but the podcast...
Sam has to literally walk these two idiots like dogs into, what the analogy he's trying to make.
It was a way to sell Mangria.
Right.
And he made a ton. It's possible he made even more money on Mangria.
This kid right here is just totally lost. Absolute pizza brains. Just look at this kid. Total pizza brains.
For Patrick Bet-David,
that's how Joe Rogan was making a shit ton of money, was that Alpha Brain, the supplements he was selling back in the day.
It is a lost leader. So he will lose money on the podcast, but he will make it back times 2 or 3 on the business consulting side, because all of a sudden he has credibility. And so business consultants come to him because he's out there espousing business wisdom all the time. That's what it is for him.
Like and subscribe for your boy.
He also at one point, I don't know if he still is, but at one point he was writing young adult novels that he hawked on his show. I don't know if you were paying attention to PBD.
I did
at that time,
not pay
but
attention
at the end
to
of
that.
every video, he'd be like,
But
check out my
honestly,
adult novel with the description.
I mean, like, and particularly as I start, getting, like, start to see the shadows of retirement. Like, I'm thinking, like, what is my mangria? And I can't really come up with one. But
if you present a decent business model for the Vanguard, you could get an equity stake for real cheap, Sam. I'm sure it would pay dividends down the line. We don't do corporate ad reads.
You know what you got to do? You've got to have like a little graphic in the background. Buy this desk. You can buy this desk at our Vanguard merch store or something like that.
But here, wait till you get a load of the sports analysis from Mr. Stephen A. Smith.
First things first. Respectfully, Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this.
It's obviously pandering too. He knows that they want him to say some like stupid right-wing bullshit.
Yeah,
so he's filling the role.
Except for he doesn't realize he's humiliating the shit out of himself.
It's glorious.
Free sport. She described the fans. Yeah. It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what you pick. That's how fans act in every arena. In every arena. So, and then when you clearly she's not remembering who they let out.
This woman is a two-time Olympic gold medalist.
To get her back. The merchant of death. The merchant of death. An arms dealer that wanted to kill American citizens, according to the reports. That's who they let out. Mm-hmm. For her. You would think that you would be smiling, you would be ecstatic, you would be happy, and something like this wouldn't faze you at all. The fact that it does is disturbing. I'll leave it at that.
I kept waiting for him to go like, this reads like it's satire.
I thought he was going to say it first, like, first things first, this is satire, right? But that's not the direction he went.
No. Oh my God. I mean,
yeah, just no bottom. I guess the LeBron thing wasn't going to work for him forever. He's like, I got to go and become a MAGA pundit now. But for somebody who used to watch Stephen A. Smith like on ESPN and actually be like, oh yeah, he's like not that political of a dude. Sometimes he would actually say something kind of based. A lot of times it was cringe, but sometimes he would say something like, now down the MAGA pipeline.
That's where the money is.
Yep.
I guess common sense means you're down the MAGA pipeline, right?
Yep. Either way, I appreciate you taking the time. Sam,
well, I want to thank you guys for the $10,000 that you gave me.
Difference of opinion means you're just flushed down the toilet in these guys' minds, right? You have to be MAGA now that you believe something along the lines of what Patrick Bet David believes. It's so stupid. It's another way to dehumanize people that have a different opinion.
And the free desk. I appreciate that. Yep. That's what it takes to get me on Zoom now. So
you know what? Well, fortunately, business is booming. We're always awash with capital here as a socialist podcast with no credentials.
Yeah. So the rest of the video, it's only about another minute and a half long, just another glaze sesh. But like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think.